Okay, I responded to this request from Navid. He wanted 12 minutes with a 3-second increment. And he started off with G3. Okay. Let's play D5. Seems like the most direct way to play against it. Build up to E5 later. And he stops that. So what is this? This is something like a Slav defense where he's playing a fianchetto variation. Or is he going for a stonewall? This looks like a stonewall now. Okay. So I can put my knight here right away. If he wants to take it, give me a double e-pawn, I'll accept that. If he doesn't take it right away, then I'll play F5 and just defend it there. So he gave up that E5 square right away. Now I'm giving up, E4 square. I'm giving up the E5 square so he can maybe get a knight around to that square. Something to keep an eye out for. I think I want to keep my pawns on the king side here, so I took with the D pawn. Keeps his bishop hemmed in, keeps my king side relatively secure. And now let's think how to deploy the rest of my pieces. This knight can hop over to F6, would be a good square for it. This bishop could come out to E6 and look at this diagonal. Let's start with the knight. I need to get over here and defend my king against these checks along this diagonal, but I don't think they work at the moment. Queen here check, I just block with G6 rather. So a pretty unusual setup right off the bat. Okay, I'm getting my knight over here. He can hop his knight into G5, and I can kick it right away. I've got these squares under control, the E6, F7, H7, so it has to go back. But maybe, let's see what he does. If he leaves the knight there, I may need to play H6 before playing bishop E6. Maybe bishop E6 is not the right idea. But, because it's a very slow development. I have to go bishop E6 to F7 before I can move this pawn and develop the dark squared bishop. So, but he's playing very slowly too. But if I do it in the other order, if I play E6 first, this bishop is not getting out. Let's see, if I go bishop E6 now, and he plays knight B, G5, I can drop all the way back to G8 and then kick the knight. So why don't I go ahead and do this now? Not worrying about knight to B5, G5. He played it, okay. And now we will kick it. We will kick that knight. And my knight is preventing his queen from coming out. Yeah, with the knight here, queen coming out here, it could be dangerous. It's, quick kingside attack is one of the ideas of this stonewall setup. But I think somehow he's played it wrong. His pieces seem like they're locked in behind the pawns. The bishop, his dark squared bishop is locked in behind his dark pawns, and his light squared bishop is locked in behind the pawns that I've placed here. It doesn't really have any great way of breaking through there, and I have this kind of slow way of developing, but it does get all my pieces out. I guess I still have a problem, don't I? After, say, bishop, well, pawn here kicking the knight back, and then pawn to E6. This bishop is locked in behind that pawn once again. Even if I go to F7, well, from F7 it can come out along this diagonal. I think I'll play that way anyway. It's going to be tough. Tough to figure out how to place all my pieces here. Just seems to be the nature of the position. Okay, so now I can develop my dark squared bishop. I can put my light squared bishop on f7. And let's see, can his knight ever get to the e5 square? It has to come from one of these squares, here, 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 or here. Could go over here, I guess. Okay, so now I could push this pawn forward with a tempo on his queen. He's hitting my b pawn, of course, so maybe not right away. And I guess he's thinking of castling king's side, so I'll put my queen over here. Yeah, so now if I push my pawn forward, hitting his queen, he will play bishop to c5, I guess. c4. I can take queen c4. I don't like that so much, so let's instead play pawn to b5. I want to be able to push this e pawn forward and then exchange it off against maybe the d pawn over here. Get rid of my doubled pawns, open up lines for my bishops. Kind of solves all of my problems. And he doesn't want to let me do that. Okay, let's continue here. Okay, so what to do now? Pawn here he just takes, and I don't get this pawn back. Okay, well, we're just going to do some slow development. I guess the queen should go here, though. Let's unpin first. That was so if he takes on b5, I can take back with the c pawn. That's what I want to do. Play rook c8. But my next two moves are going to be bishop probably to e7 and bishop to f7 and castle. Next three moves are in the plan. So a very interesting closed position, a lot of maneuvering, and probably fell right in with White's plans by playing this way. It seems like these are the kind of positions he likes. Yeah. Okay, bishop f7. The other bishop, I don't know if it goes to e7 or d6. Maybe e7. On d6 it blocks the queen's view here. The other squares are not available. He has gradually found squares for his pieces. Okay, he's continuing to pile up on the b pawn, but okay, well, let's think. Pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, huh? So I have to defend it. I didn't want to defend it. I wanted to just play bishop e7 and castle. But you don't always get what you want. So I guess he's not castling. He's wrecked his queen side now. And he could still castle king side. He's not castling queen side. Yeah, of course he's moved his rook too. That was a signal. Yeah, what about rook to c5? Does that work? Oh, I take it with my bishop. I've got control of that square. Okay, so now I can play e5. His queen has to move, and he can't interpose with the bishop. And I can take on the d pawn here. He's threatening to bring his bishop into the c7 square, though. So I guess I'll play this first. This develops and protects, and this threat is still here, so maybe I'll play it now. See where he goes with the queen. He can't even maintain pressure on the pawn here. He should go somewhere that defends the d pawn. So that when I take back, he has the option of taking back with either the queen or the he is going there. Oh, because of why? Why is that working? I take, he takes my rook, I take his queen. That cannot be working. The bishop here defends the rook too. Maybe didn't notice that when I developed the bishop to d6, it was defending the rook. Before that, the rook was loose there. So maybe he noticed I hadn't castled, thought there was a back rank weakness, which there maybe is, but not this one. So now his queen is hanging, and he's down a piece. Okay, so he just moved his queen to the side. So it's castle, right? Well, if I take here, I did want to take. That was the idea. I just wanted to gain a tempo on the queen in order to take. And then if I castle here, he pins my bishop. Have anything great? My queen is defended by the knight, so let's maybe unpin right away. How's the best way to do that? Come over here and hit his bishop. If I go here, oh yeah, that pawn is defended by a bishop. If I go, there's no square I can go to that attacks his bishop, and my bishop too, is there? That attacks his bishop and defends my bishop. I mean, he's got a loose piece over here. Maybe like this. I attack the bishop with tempo, and if he tries to pile up on my bishop, I can place a piece on the d5 square, like bishop to d5. Still defends this pawn, and it's defended by the knight and the rook. And I should be able to castle, bring another rook into the game. Should be okay. And if he doesn't do anything, I can actually just play bishop to c5 here, hitting his queen. Okay, so he defended the bishop. Should I castle first, or continue to play with some risk here? What does he do after bishop to c5? That's the question to ask. He can't come forward because that's covered by the rook. And my queen is on this line, and he can't come back on this diagonal. So the only place he could go to that would avoid a trade is going to c3, and then I could castle. So let's go ahead and do that. If he trades, I just take back with the knight, and I'm happy. Could even take with the king and Bring the rook out. Trades queens, I mean. Yep, after the queen trade, I'm just a piece up. Oh yeah, I forgot. The the rook is no longer guarding that square because the bishop is in the way. The bishop can move here with check. Let's see, he doesn't have a check down here because my rook is guarding that square. I can block with the queen. And he still has to run back to c3 if he wants to avoid trading. Okay, he wants to bring his bishop in. Okay, he's opening up this file. Okay, so let's castle. My queen is defended by the bishop. And the bishop is not really pinned because the queen takes queen, unpins it. So, and there's some nice possibilities here, like knight to g4, and the bishop, and, well, actually, the bishop is already threatening to take on e3. Knight g4 would also attack e3. So this is a good thing to play, right? Because that wins the queen. I take there with check. He can block it or move the king, and then whatever he does, I take his queen next, because he can't block with the queen. So he moved his king. So I think he can resign any time now. Resigning with a clear conscience. Or he can see if I can checkmate him. Maybe bishop. Yeah, the two bishops, that would be a nice checkmate here if I have bishops on the light squared and the dark squared diagonal. I just got to get this bishop here. But the other bishop is in the way of the pawn. Well, if he lets his time run out, I'll cut this part out of the video. Oh, no, he's playing on. Play on. Is he going to double rooks and attack my queen? Let's attack his bishop. That undefends his undefends this pawn, but I'm just getting rid of all the force on the board to simplify things. So we can play rook takes c4, knight takes bishop, rook takes bishop. And I'll have to move this bishop somewhere. I could start pushing this pawn forward. So he didn't go for the trade. He just moved his bishop away. Let's just keep taking stuff. We will take stuff. I kind of like the idea of moving the bishop out of the way, and then bishop and queen could checkmate. Or if I could get the queen around, no, I can't get to those squares so easily. Drop the bishop back, push the pawn forward, and then queen here. So he did decide to go for the pawn. Good idea. Why not? Okay, so I'm dropping the bishop back so I can push the pawn forward. And now the check. He goes there, the pawn comes forward with check. Looks pretty devastating. I see, he can block with the knight. Knight to g7. He did. And now if I push this pawn forward, I could bring my knight in to threaten mate. How about this? So if I go here, he can take it and defend the knight. Okay, I'll have to just prosaically chase his rook away. Aha. Okay, I'll take it. Let's see. So I'll bring the knight in to chase his rook away then. Ah, he unpinned his knight. Okay, I can line up a battery like this with bishop and queen. That would checkmate him. This also checkmates him. So nice to spot those little things. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you later. Bye.